Karyn Bryant for MMA H.E.A.T. I'm here with Ryan Bader, who is facing Lyoto Machida on Saturday night at UFC on Fox 4. And I keep telling everybody that this fight is the one that's going to blow everybody away. I mean, do you feel that this is a matchup that's really stylistically set to make a big fight?
Yeah, I think it's a fight that people want to see. You know, it's they're billing it as kind of like a stylistic fight, a wrestler versus a karate guy, but we're both much more than that. You know, we have many more tools, and but we do have our strong points and our bread and butter, and so I think it's going to be interesting. And we've trained our butts off. We've done the right things. I'm sure he has, and I keep getting better and better in each fight and bringing more tools to the table. So whereas he's been there, he's done it, he's been in the sport for so long that I know he's still getting better, but I feel I will surprise people because I'm young in this sport and I grow every fight and I bring different tools every fight. So that's going to be just something that kind of like my secret weapon.
And I don't know if you know Kenny Johnson, but that's Lyoto's wrestling coach over there at Black House. And, they've been working very intensely. He already has a good sprawl and a good defense, but obviously they've been working on a lot in preparation specifically for you. So that's got to feel good.
Yeah, Kenny Johnson was actually our coach on The Ultimate Fighter, too.
Oh, that's right.
You can. I bring in my guys, too, and you're trying to figure everybody out. But I think I'm going to surprise some people. If they're expecting me to just run in there blatantly, just, bent over, running for a takedown, then they're going to be surprised for sure. So we've trained right, we've done our things, we've got a good game plan, and with a guy like Lyoto, you can't just rush in there with anything. You can't just rush in there with boxing and expect to win, or with just takedowns and wrestling. You got to mix it up. You got to make it a fight that's going on your tempo and not his, and putting pressure on him, but being smart. So there's a lot of things you got to worry about with a fight like Lyoto.
Well, I was just going to say he confounds so many people. So his footwork, his angles, his low, his kick. I mean, it's just. I guess you just watch tape him because there's nobody else that really fights like him, right? So
he has so many tools that he's hard to prepare for. But what we did, we actually one of the whole things about losing a couple of fights is I changed everything up. And one of the things is we got a great head coach and a real student of the game, and he found somebody up in Vegas that is perfect fit for Machida to spar. Hiroshi Allen. He's been in the karate world. He came over the first time they put headgear on him, and we sparred. Not knowing each other, and I couldn't tell it wasn't Machida. I was like, holy crap! People in the gym were like, "Who are you sparring?" And so having him has been awesome. And seeing those angles in the gym, because if you don't see those angles, those trips, those blitzes, those different everything in that tempo, then you're going to be surprised in the octagon. But I've seen it so much in this camp that the first time is kind of tricky, and then the second time I got better. By the end, I was dictating my pace and I was controlling the fight, and I knew all the angles and all his tails and feints and everything. So
nice. Well, it sounds like you've been on a little bit of a reinvention journey. I know lately you've been winning, it's real good, but I'm curious, was that after the Tito fight, did that make you think about some things and change the way you approach things?
Absolutely. I lost to John Jones. First loss, it sucks. I wasn't used to losing, but he's John Jones. He went on to
he's kind of good.
He's kind of good. So you're like, all right, whatever. You lose in the sport, kind of went back, did the same thing, and lost to Tito. Then coming back in the locker room after that, I was like, man, what am I doing? How can I change? Do I belong here? And then we changed everything up, and we got new coaches. We changed the way we trained. We handed over the reins. So I came out in drills, looked good, got a knockout, felt the best I felt as far as being in there. I wasn't overtrained. I was strong. My hands were a lot better. I actually knew what I was doing with my hands. I worked on the little stuff, the footwork, the head movement, all that kind of stuff. Went in against a fight with Rampage, went the whole 3 rounds. My cardio was best it's ever been. I felt good against a tough guy, strong guy like Rampage, and so it's going to carry over in this fight too.
So if you have a great performance Saturday night, you might get a chance at John Jones or Dan Henderson. Is there one of those guys you'd prefer to fight?
Not really. I fought John Jones. It'd be nice to get a little redemption. I haven't fought Dan Henderson, and he's one of those legends of the sport. And for me, at this point in my life, I grew up watching these guys, these older guys that have been in the sport. Not necessarily older, but they've been in the game for a while. The guys like Machida, Rampage, Jardine, O'Gara, and Tito. And look, now I just look at it as like fighting this guy, whatever. Just just another guy in the octagon. But looking back on your career, you're like, wow, you know, I fought these names, I fought all these guys that I grew up watching, and so a guy like Henderson would be another one of those guys, you know, before he's done with this whole sport. You know, and I respect that he was one of my favorite fighters, watching him when I was coming up, because he had that wrestling background, knew people that knew him and stuff like that. So yeah, this is going to be a good fight. So either way, if I get that opportunity, it's going to be an amazing experience.
Well, I think you're going to do great on Saturday night. I know it's going to be a good fight, and look forward to seeing there doing your work, and best of luck to you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.